Good morning, everybody. My name is Crystal, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm here in my flat in Rochester. Good morning, and it looks like it's going to be another sunny, hot day here in Rochester. It looks like it's going to be another sunny, hot day. So the sunshine is out. It's warm in this flat, and no word of a lie. It's 26 degrees inside this flat. 26 degrees inside the flat, not outside. I've just been on the balcony to water my plants, and it's cool on the balcony, it's cool. But inside it's 26 degrees. And I've had fans on all night as well. I've had 2 or 3 fans on all night, and it's still 26 degrees. It's very, very hot. It's boiling. It's very, very hard to keep cool. It's very hard to be comfortable in these conditions, but you know, I'm going to have to see if I can get some sort of air conditioning. I mean, summer lasts relatively until the end of August, but sometimes we have an Indian summer where it's hot in September. So basically you've got a 6-7 weeks, and then it'll should start to cool down a bit, but who knows, if it's global warming it won't cool down, will it? So I've got up this morning, and I'm just doing what comes naturally. Whatever I want to do, I'll do. If I'm capable of doing it and I could have got the finances, I'll do it. But I've got no plans for today, as usual. I'm going to try and stay out of TikTok as much as possible. It just drives you crazy. It's toxic. It really does affect your mental health, whether you're in a live stream yourself or you're going into somebody else's. It affects your mental health, what people are saying. And I remember years ago when there was chat rooms, the same thing happened. They start messing with your head. So let's see if we can stay out of it as much as possible today. Yesterday I was in TikTok a lot, on and off. I took Max out for a walk, I came back home, I did a live stream in TikTok. There was not very nice people in there at all. TikTok have restricted access. I didn't have time to read that a flashing red and white notice came up. TikTok have restricted your access, and I couldn't, it just flashed on and off, so I don't know why. So I was getting people in my live stream I didn't recognise. It was just odd. I ordered some food from Asda. They didn't have the strawberries, so later on in the afternoon I went and got some strawberries from the Co-op, and the Co-op looks bare. It looks bare, like there's hardly anything in it. Yesterday for me was horrible. It wasn't very nice at all. It wasn't like, I can't explain it. Ever since I have told this police officer, and he put it all down on his mobile phone, whoever that mobile phone was, and I'm getting all these strange things happening now. Men appearing out of drain holes outside my window that look like Jason Statham. It's just weird. This is what happened in Gloucestershire. They got doubles doubles came out to do the safe house, and one of them looked like Prince William and Justin Timberlake. Seriously, lookalikes, not the real celebrities, the lookalikes of them. So I came back into my flat. I live streamed for a bit before I went out in the afternoon, and then I took Max out for a walk and we went for a slow walk outside, but it was extremely hot. Even though the sun wasn't out full blast, it was still boiling. So we didn't go out for a walk very long. There was a few people out. There was a Chinese man waving his hands about. There was a blonde woman on the gym equipment. There was people, but it seemed to be orchestrated. It was just not right. I know, gang stalkers do this. They want to keep you under control. They want to make you think that it's normal, but it's not. These people are put there. Whatever goes on throughout my day, what I've said, what I've done, these people are put there. My Scrabble words are put on car number plates. And they come down the road. They try and make you feel like you're going paranoid and crazy, but it is true, because I've taped the number plates, I've screenshotted my Scrabble, and you can see I'm not lying. Especially when it's got the word die on it, D-Y or D-I, it's scary. So I came back home at lunchtime and I just sat down, and it's a noisy area, it is. When you've got built up blocks of flats, it's going to be noisy. There's going to be hundreds of kids everywhere. And kids grow into teenagers, and you know what I mean? It's noisy. I was warned when I moved in here, but I was so desperate to get out of my other place, that I took this place. God knows what my other place is like. I've seen a window smashed in. So, I mean, Medway's getting quite violent and crazy. And there is an underlying drug problem. So, all yesterday afternoon and early evening, I was in my flat just keeping myself to myself. And it does get monotonous. People need social interaction, and I'm being caged and kept out of the way. I'm an outcast because I don't do bad shit. I don't take drugs, I don't drink, and I don't steal. So in that respect, yes, I am an outcast. And by the way, that concert in the castle was something to do with Craig David. And he must be getting on now. Alexa, how old is Craig David?
Good morning, Crystal. Craig David is 44 years old.
Craig David is nearly 50. So the person they were all going crazy about at the castle concert was Craig David. I didn't go to see it. I didn't have tickets to see it. I don't want to sit and have my ears blasted. And I saw Craig David. Before the Queen died, there was the Platinum Jubilee. And my son took me up to see the Platinum Jubilee with the Queen at Paddington Bear. And Craig David was performing there. I keep seeing Craig David everywhere. He was performing at the Platinum Jubilee with the Queen, where the Queen was on the screen with Paddington Bear. So I've seen Craig David. I haven't seen him close up. I haven't got his autograph. But I'm celebrities are just people. They're just ordinary people that have got more money than everybody else. That's all. I don't see any excitement in it. I'm sorry, I don't. I just don't. I'm happy on my own. I don't, all these people crave things all their life, never find it, and then, no, I'm happy as I am, so just leave me. So like I said, what did I do when I come back home? I went on another live stream, and there was it's just disgusting. I am a fan of Princess Diana, so what? So that guy with this moustache was supposed to look like Hasnat Khan. That was supposed to look like Hasnat Khan. But Hasnat Khan is in fact he was quite podgy, he was quite big. So the guy that delivered my Asda shopping was supposed to be a funny version of Hasnat Khan. Because the snoop that goes down my live streams and the snoop that goes down my Instagram, Facebook and looks at the comments I've made about Princess Diana, they're absolutely crazy. They're a lunatic. They get jealous of me commenting that Diana's dead, that a dead woman was stunning. They get jealous. It's absolutely ridiculous. To get jealous of you commenting on someone that's passed on is absolutely crazy. It's not normal at all. They can't leave me alone. Everything I do, what do I like doing? And then they start copying it. They're mad. They're not normal, that's for sure, because a normal person doesn't act like that. That obsessed and obsessive, that's a disorder. That's not normal at all. And if it's a woman, I feel sorry for them. Being obsessed with me to the point where they're following me all around my posts and everything. It's really weird. So a woman's just come out of here and started laughing. It's just odd behaviour. It's like they're on drugs as well. First thing in the morning. It's not. I'm sorry. I'm just stating what I think is facts. Like they're on something. So I just went into a live stream, and I just did my Welsh. I thought, I was trying to make a point. I was saying to my stalker, I said, right, you want to know what I do every evening? I'm on my own. I make myself a cup of tea. I thought I'd make some snacks. I listen to the radio, and I said I'd do my Welsh lessons. So I got my Duolingo out, and I just sat there doing my Welsh lessons. It's just a stalker that wants to watch what I'm doing. So rather than spying on me, you can see me first, you can just see me live doing my Welsh. I said, do you want to watch me watch Netflix later? And I did. I watched Netflix, but I didn't go on a live stream because that's all they're doing. They're snooping. They want to know all about me, what I do, how I tick, but they never will because they never get inside my brain. It's too strong and thick for them to enter. So Netflix, I watched a Liam Neeson film last night. Liam Neeson, a brilliant Irish actor. He lost his wife, didn't he? Honest Thief.
Now a third robbery, this time in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, by what appears to be the same modus operandi.
The In-N-Out Bandit has done it once again. 8 robberies in the past 6 years, and authorities still have no suspects.
The In-N-Out Bandit. Liam Neeson starring as the In-N-Out Bandit. Thief and a robber. Number 2 in Netflix films, and I watched it last night. And after the film finished, you just do, don't you, when you live by yourself? You read something, maybe read a bit of a book before you go to bed, listen to the radio or whatever. But all I'm going to do is go into TikTok to see if I've got anything. But because I'm not speaking to the snoop, they're being very, very, very nasty.
Amazon Prime Day is here. 4 days of big
No. They are. My mother's ringing the phone. My mum's ringing the phone while I'm doing this video. My mother? Alexa, good morning.
Good morning. On this day in 1913, the hottest temperature ever recorded on Earth was logged in Death Valley, California, when the thermometer hit a whopping 57 degrees Celsius. Scorchio.
Alexa, what's the time, please?
The time is 8 a.m.
Alexa, what's the date today?
Today is Thursday, the 10th of July.
Alexa, what's the weather outlook for Rochester?
Currently, in Rochester, England, it's 18 degrees Celsius with clear skies and sun. Today, you can expect mostly sunny weather, with a high of 29 degrees and a low of 15 degrees.
Another heat wave, guys. 29 degrees here in Rochester. It's going to reach 29 degrees today. Alexa, can you tell me a joke?
How does one train hear that another one's coming? With its engineers.
And Alexa, which celebrity was born on this day? Alexa, which celebrities were born on this day?
Celebrities born on the 10th of July include Nikola Tesla, Mason Thames, Isabella Merced, Sofia Vergara, and Alyssa Slotkin.
There you go. So we're going to stay out of people's live streams and, just do our own thing today. As like I was saying to someone yesterday, I said, it's all right moving, but you've got to find the source of the problem. You've got to find out what is going on, otherwise it's just going to follow you about and it could possibly get worse. And the last thing I want to do is to move to a very secluded place when I've got a stalker. So I need to be in a place where there's other people and possibly some kind of like sheltered accommodation where you aren't going to get all this crap, but there's people there. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to be like cut off and on my own with a stalker on the loose and a nutcase. Do I? Because that's what happened before. They want you secluded. They want you out of the way so they can attack you. Do you know what I mean? That can be worse. I'd rather be here at the moment where there are people than be secluded and completely on my own with a nutcase on the loose. Because I can't see how someone can say they're not going to find you, because people can find you. Of course they can find you. They can find you without being on the internet. They only need to get someone to follow you down the road to where you live. Do you know what I mean? That you don't. You've just got to make sure that the place is secure and alarmed. You don't need to give your address out. Somebody could follow you back home. Alexa, LBC Radio.
LBC London from Global Player.
Unlock exclusive features and content from LBC and even join the conversation.
Send a comment to LBC.
Just say, ask Global Player to link my account.
We've also deported 30,000 people in the last year. That's way over the... these are people who have no right to be in Britain and they're now out of Britain. That was action that wasn't being taken by the previous government.
A former Conservative Party chairman has defected to Reform UK. Sir Jake Berry, who's no longer an MP, says Reform is the last chance to pull Britain back from decline. The Tories have wished him well in what they call a high-spend, high-tax party. And it's estimated the equivalent of more than one pub a day is set to close this year. The British Beer and Pub Association is urging the government to reform business rates, something it plans to do. A short time ago in the city, the FTSE 100 reopened at 88.67. It closed up 12 yesterday. The pound buys $1.35 and €1.16. LBC weather, very warm and sunny for most of England and Wales. Rain for the northwest of Scotland. Highs of 31 degrees. From Global's newsroom for LBC, I'm Dominic Ellis.
Some companies try to reel people in by promising quick cash if you pay them to claim work expenses. But think twice before taking the bait, because they might just want to land a commission, and it turns out you aren't eligible to claim anything. You'll have to pay HMRC back, and it's unlikely the company will refund any fees. So don't get caught out. Check if you're eligible and make a claim with HMRC for free online. Just search "Don't Get Caught Out."
This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Ferrari at breakfast.
Good morning, 5 minutes after 8 on Thursday, the 10th of July. Well, you've heard the story that's coming up next, the scandal that Fujitsu is still picking up these government contracts after their near criminal incapability to provide that computer program was laid bare in that searing documentary. We'll get into that exclusive in more detail in just a moment. Plus, it is apparently the day of action in the Anglo-French summit. We might hear confirmation of this idea that 50 migrants will be returned a week. I tried to get more detail from Defence Secretary John Healey.
We've stopped 12,000 crossings this year alone.
Yes.
In particular, based on the cooperation, the increased cooperation with the French.
But the number is up by 50%. People
look, we've also deported 30,000 people.
Wimbledon will see you in court. No, not that kind of court, rather the High Court, as Simon Wright from the campaign group Save Wimbledon Park told me last week.
Everyone involved in this loves tennis, and we like Wimbledon the way it is. We have worked with a master planner, the guy who actually laid out the original Wimbledon plans. Even he thinks this is a bad scheme.
Plus the last post.
Oh yes, wait a minute, Mr. Postman. Hey, Mr. Postman.
You'll hear from off-cameras. They effectively do away with second-class posts. That's later for this hour.
Nick Ferrari at breakfast. Call 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Nick Ferrari at breakfast on LBC.
The job of the journalist is, as it was once famously said, to sit at the back of the room throwing rotten fruit, or to try and hold people to account, or speak truth to power, whatever it was. And if you've been around as long as I have, sometimes you get told information. So someone let it be known to me that despite the impact of that very powerful, Mr. Bates versus the Post Office, a docudrama almost at ITV, award-winning, I should say, the government was still handing out multi-million-pound contracts to Fujitsu, the author of that shocking Horizon programme. I asked my LBC colleague Henry Riley to investigate. He joins me now with the exclusive report. Henry.
Nick, it was yesterday on your programme that you asked the Minister for the Cabinet Office, Nick Thomas Simmons, a pretty direct question.
Can you give me assurance there's no other government contracts that handed out to Fujitsu?
I mean, that's a matter for procurement.
I just want to make sure that there are no new contracts going the way of Fujitsu.
Well, I think in terms of, we have to, the procurement has a particular legal framework around it that we have to deal with. It's not my direct responsibility.
So there could still be contracts going the way of Fujitsu?
Well, look, all I can say is there is a particular legal framework we have to follow in terms of procurement.
Now, Fujitsu, of course, the controversial Japanese tech firm behind the faulty Post Office Horizon IT system, a company who said themselves they would pause bidding for new contracts and have imposed restrictions on themselves with regards to bidding government contracts. And we can reveal today that Fujitsu have been awarded substantial government contracts. In total, the firm has been awarded £500 million since the 1st of January 2024. Now, that particular date was the day that this came out.
The computer system Post Office spent an arm and a leg on is faulty.
No one else has ever reported any problems with Horizon. No one.
You're responsible for the loss.
I haven't got that money, and I don't know where it's gone.
Now, since Mr. Bates versus the Post Office, a combined £510,704,000 was awarded by government bodies or the government themselves. More than half of that on HMRC, more than £7 million on Ministry of Defence contracts, including for the provision of 50 specialist laptops, while the Home Office also have recently issued contracts with a value of £28 million in that time, including on what they describe as hardware provisions. Now, I spoke with Lord Arbuthnot, the Tory peer who sits on the Horizon Compensation Advisory Board. He told me that our findings were alarming.
What I want to understand is why the government is continuing to treat Fujitsu as an acceptable partner given their behaviour over the sub-postmasters. They should not be continuing to do business with this company. It sounds to me as though the government feels it's over a barrel with Fujitsu, and that's not an acceptable position for the government to be in.
Now, in response, a Fujitsu spokesperson told us we continue to work with the UK government to ensure we adhere to the voluntary restrictions we put in place with regards to the bidding of new contracts. A government spokesperson said we've been clear that those responsible for the Horizon IT scandal must be held to account. They add that Fujitsu has committed to withdraw from bidding contracts with new government customers until the inquiry concludes. But Nick, I mean, among the £500 million, there's also £63 million that the Post Office has awarded to Fujitsu. That's a one-year extension to the Horizon Services Agreement for IT services. I think that might be a more sort of legacy thing, but the idea of handing over £63 million from the Post Office to Fujitsu, I think, will stick in the craw of many people. Indeed, probably why as well you challenged the Defence Secretary John Healey, as I referenced earlier, about those MOD contracts.
Because the contracts that we as Defence have with Fujitsu are based on an assessment of what Fujitsu can provide for defence, provide for our forces.
There's no other supply?
And we are making sure that what they supply at taxpayers' expense to reinforce our forces or our defence systems is good value for money, and where it is, we'll continue to consider using them.
But this is a company that we now learn is possibly responsible for 13 people taking their lives, 59 others considering it, and they're rewarded with the award of 5 more contracts since 2024. There's no other supplier out there, Secretary of State?
They're the supplier that is best able to meet the terms of the contract.
What sort of look is that, do you imagine?
So, as a government, we have to be able to deal with main threats. My job as Defence Secretary
I hear
is
you,
to
sir,
deal
but imagine your mother or father took their life as a result of the Fujitsu Horizon programme, and you now hear that this government has given £500 million in contracts since 2024. How does that sit?
I think if, and I've dealt as a local MP with some of the postmasters and mistresses and their families that have been hit by this scandal, the one thing that they want is justice, The second thing they want is proper compensation. And as a government, we're determined to get that up in place and speed that up because the payments have not been fast enough.
A defence of sorts from Defence Secretary John Healey. Let's turn to Jo Hamilton now. While no one campaigner should be singled out over any other, she is probably one of the most high-profile former sub-postmistress who, despite remortgaging her home, was falsely prosecuted for a shortfall of accounts of £36,000 and features prominently in the award-winning docudrama that we've mentioned. Jo Hamilton joins me now. Good to have you on. So LBC discovers the amount of money still being handed out by previous and the current government. Your reaction, Jo? Morning.
Morning. Well, I'm not very often speechless, but honestly, it's like the government are endorsing what they've done to keep using them, you know. And why can't they say, well, okay, if you want to renew your contract, you've got to pay up, because they should be contributing to this scandal. It really is dreadful.
What do you think the other campaigners who you're so close to, how do you think they'll react as the news spreads later today, Jo?
Well, they'll be as angry as I am, you know, because it's like them saying, well, that was a bit naughty, but, you know, we'll carry on using you, don't worry. It's just awful.
Privileged to speak to you today. I spoke with Wendy Buffrey yesterday, who you know well, who told me, I don't know if you're aware, but you saved her life. She was sitting on a hill where she used to go as a schoolgirl because she was again wrongly caught up in this. She had the pills in her hand. She was ready to attempt to take her life, and the mobile phone rang, and it was you. Were you aware of that, Jo?
I was afterwards. I wasn't aware at the time, but she did tell me afterwards that that's what she had gone to do. So, yeah, I didn't know at the time. But I know she was at rock bottom.
You saved her life.
Well, yeah, it's just what I do. If Alan used to flag people up who were a bit wobbly, I'd, you know, help, and that's all you can do really, because what else could we do? None of us had any money to help, but we could just be there emotionally. I could be there for her, and it's heartwarming, isn't it? I think, wow.
Yeah, well, it certainly stopped me in my tracks, and it takes quite a lot for that to happen. Jo, what do you take from the Oval? I haven't spoken to you, obviously. What do you take from events at the Oval?
I'm pleased that Sir Win put certain things in there, and he seems, he seems to have, but quite how we're still trying to talk about what full and fair, or define what full and fair is beyond me, because it's a big fluffy term, isn't it, that they can hide behind, you know, full and fair redress at speed. But I think the fact that he's brought this report out and the next one is coming down the tracks puts pressure on the government, and he wants them to reply to him by the 10th of October. So he's given them deadlines, and he knows, they know that there's another report coming out. So they are under pressure. But God, how many times have I heard the word at speed, at pace? You know, I mean, how many years have we been moaning, and then the drama accelerated things, and everyone rushed around and said, oh yeah, we're going to do this, that and everything else. But the fact is, since Labour took over, and I had high hopes the administration change would actually accelerate things, but it hasn't. If anything, it's made it worse.
Really? You think it's actually slowed down under the new administration, Jo?
Yeah, I mean, it's easy for them to say they've paid billions, they paid £1 billion to 7,000 sub-postmasters, but part of the scheme, when we settled, part of it, the conditions were that they would pay anyone who'd had a shortfall, which meant, like, if you'd had a shortfall of even, say, £5,000, you could come forward, they'd give you £5,000, tick the box. So thousands of people came forward, which gives them the power to stand up and say, we've paid thousands of postmasters billions of pounds. And it's like, oh, shut up. Seriously. It's
a privilege. Sorry, finish your point. No, I'm just sorry, Jo, finish the point you wanted to make.
Yeah, you just get fed up hearing the same toot coming out of the minister's mouth.
Oh, Jo, you're a tonic. It's a privilege to talk to you. Thank you. So you're what they call in America good people. You're a star, Jo Hamilton. We're very lucky to have you. Have a great day. Thank you so much for your time today. Jo Hamilton, former sub-postmistress. Remember, of course, from that award-winning documentary, Fujitsu, £500 million worth of contracts. It left that campaigner speechless. Can you find the words? 8:17 LBC News headlines. Dominic Ellis.
A man's died after being stabbed in a busy tourist area of central London. Royal Mail will be allowed to scrap Saturday deliveries for second-class letters, and a deal aimed at deterring migrants from crossing the Channel is expected to top the agenda of the summit between the UK and France later. LBC weather very warm and sunny for England and Wales, rain for the northwest of Scotland, highs of 31 degrees.
LBC Travel, I'm Joanne Webb. The M3 is closed in both directions between junctions 5 at Hook and 6 at Basingstoke. It's because a car has overturned and that's causing delays. Still very slow on the M25 anti-clockwise to junction 20 at Kings Langley. There are delays of about 20 minutes after that car broke down much earlier this morning. Long delays on the A12 southbound to junction 15 at 3 Mile Hill, and that's all down to an accident. And these huge delays continue in Deptford with the A2 New Cross Road being closed in both directions. It's all down to a gas leak. On the underground, there are minor delays on the Bakerloo line, and Gatwick Express and Thameslink services are disrupted southbound, and this is going via Gatwick Airport following a signal failure.
LBC.